So we're going to talk about now cruises. Now, that is the number one method of travel that we have been on. We have been...
Oh my, I lost count.
Are now... Okay, so there's two major cruise companies, of course. Royal Caribbean and then Carnival.
And the Liberty Boat.
And the Liberty Boat,
Liberty Cruise,
which is
that's right.
Yes.
That's true. And so with cruising, guys, there's a lot of misconceptions about cruising, and we're going to sit on cruises for a little while because we've done so many of them. We consider ourselves pretty cruise experts at this point. We're gold members now on Carnival, and with Carnival, being a gold member is something that I bragged about quite a bit. It's just great because that means we get special privileges and perks that we, didn't have as red members. But cruising is so cool because, for one, you can explore several parts of the Caribbean. Mainly, they do a lot of cruises in the Caribbean, Carnival and Royal. And if you don't have enough money to, let's say, afford flying to these places and staying at a hotel or a resort or whatever, cruising can give you a very holistic experience because it's essentially all encompassing. Everything. You don't need to spend money if you don't want to spend money as it relates to a cruise ship.
Exactly.
So I want you to talk about that, and then I can kind of talk about the benefits from a destination standpoint. But let people know, if you've never taken a cruise, why we enjoy it so much.
Okay, well, to begin, Babe made me think about this. When you're on a cruise, it's like a resort on water, basically, because everything is included. And just to back up just a little bit, we first took our first cruise, y'all, when Libby was like 11 months old.
Yes, this baby wasn't even a year.
She wasn't a year old yet, and we always travel every November. That's our anniversary month. We always travel somewhere, and so we were trying to figure out, like, what should we do? I was like, babe, where should we go? What should we do? And we just couldn't figure out anything, and it just popped in my head, maybe we can do a cruise. Like, we had never done one before. We were very, very naive as it related to it, and so, make a long story short, we went ahead, and got online, and we looked at Carnival because we knew that Carnival went out of Galveston, which is not too far from Houston. We used to go to Galveston, Texas all the time, so we were used to seeing the cruise ships. And so, y'all, we got on, and we basically started researching places that we might want to go, or seeing where the cruise line went, so on and so forth. And we took our first cruise, y'all, and we fell in love for so many reasons. As Babe mentioned a moment ago, first of all, we love cruising so much because you get to go to these different islands, and the people are so welcoming when you come to these different islands. I mean, like, they're smiling, they're happy to see you. They want you to purchase their merchandise.
They want you to purchase a lot of
merchandise. That's the island part. But being on the cruise ship itself, you guys, is just so dope. Like, especially with Carnival, because Carnival is kind of like, as people call it, like the turn up party boat or whatever. And even though we're not so much into that, it's still fun. It's like family fun. If you want to do things, that maybe the whole family can't do, you have that option as well. But for us as a family, like, you can go to like the Lido deck, y'all, which is like the main hub where people go and eat.
Oh my goodness.
And swim and all that stuff. And Libby, you are tripping me out. And you guys, you can go and you can just enjoy so much family fun. You can enjoy movies. You can enjoy dancing. They have so many hype people that have music, and you can just feel like you're just in a peaceful place. That's what I think about when we're cruising.
I mean, if you want to turn up, and people do it, you can do that. If you want to relax, you can do that. And you run into just either the turn up people or the relaxing people, and the relaxing people tend to be the older cruisers and people that they're like platinum level cruising because they've just been doing it. But we are kind of the relaxing people. We get some of the best sleep in the world being on a cruise ship because the boat kind of rocking, and I made the mistake of not having my motion sickness pills, so you definitely want to make sure you get you some motion sickness pills. But even if you don't think you'd get motion sick, have you some motion sickness pills. Yes, and it's some of the best sleep in the world. All your food is covered, so there are specialty restaurants that are on cruise ships that you can pay a little bit extra for, but within every cruise package you have a buffet style lunch and dinner and breakfast that you can go to, and you also have a fine dining lunch and breakfast and dinner that you can go to. There's no fine dining lunch, but we would sometimes do the buffet style, but we're like, look, we spent the money, we want to enjoy fine dining every single night. And it was in our non-vegan days, when we tell you guys, they had steak every day. They had lobster one day. You only get the lobster one time during the cruise, but you could get steak, you could get chicken, you could get any type of just vegetables and all that stuff.
Desserts galore.
Desserts galore, guys. I mean, it was just awesome. But being plant-based, it's been an issue for us as far as being vegans, because they don't really have the accommodations. We saw an article actually today on Veg News that they're now, Royal Caribbean now has vegan options that they're going to be presenting. So we are pretty excited to go back and see what that's going to be all about, and see if they really, because they've always had tofu and stuff like that, but they don't have, it's
like
not
an actual vegan menu. They said they actually are having a vegan menu that's coming, and vegan desserts.
Yes. Yeah, they would have vegetarian, a lot of vegetarian stuff, but if you are vegan, it was no bueno, and that's why we haven't been in a while. But like I said, I'm very, very curious to see how it's going to be now that they are now incorporating a full vegan menu. But the food is covered, entertainment is covered. There's something to do every single night. Babe talked about the Lido deck.
Yeah,
that's like the main floor, like Babe was saying, where they do the movies and stuff like that. But every night, comedy shows, dancing, ballroom dancing, karaoke.
Yeah,
we did. We wanted to do. Or did we do?
We did do it. That time
when
when Mom and Jenny came with us, we all came together. Yeah.
So we did karaoke. You can do that, and it's just a fun. Just let your hair down. Nobody's going to judge you, because people, if they're not inebriated, they're there to have fun as well. So it's like, no judgment on there. The destinations are some of the just most beautiful places, and having the ability to enjoy it for the little while that you're there. And if you want to go back to the ship, but you're like, okay, we're here, we're in the Caymans, we take our selfies, enjoy snorkeling if you're into all of that, and to be able to get back on the ship is really cool. But you get to say, hey, I've been to the Caymans. I've been to Cozumel.
Like, we'll take whatever the total is for the three of us, and what we'll do is we'll divide it up amongst whenever the cutoff date, because usually it's a couple of months before your cruise. So if your cruise is in November, for example, then around September is when you have to have your cruise paid off. But keep in mind, you guys, let's just say right now we want to go on a cruise next November. If there's one available, we can start on it right now. So you have all of those months to pay that cruise off if you choose to do so. So that's what we always do. We have a payment plan, and it could be as low as $100 per month, depending on when we first book our cruise. But to me, it's very, very affordable in that type of way, because if you think about it, going back to the whole idea of how we are able to travel so much, Babe mentioned it earlier, we don't do a whole lot of shopping and stuff, and it's certain things that we just don't partake in. Like, we don't have car notes on our car.
That's by design. I mean, we have very, very old cars, but they run, and
they run good. So it's just so many different things that we don't do. We don't go to the hair salon. Every now and then we'll go get a pedicure, Liv and I, but we don't traditionally go get our nails. It's just so many everyday things that women do, or things that men may do that we don't do, that allows us to be able to save that money. And then we also live under our means as well. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's like you're able to put, $100 this month, and another $100, and another $100 for the cruises. So I would highly recommend cruising. If you are vegan like we are, I would recommend going with Carnival versus Royal Caribbean, just because that was our last cruise with Royal Caribbean, which was not good from a vegan standpoint. Beautiful ship, beautiful islands that we went to,
but they did not have any
we just didn't have a lot of options while we were there, so that was a little painful, if you will, because we love to eat. But definitely, Babe.
So you made a good point, and thank you for bringing that up. As far as, so we talked about all of the ways that you can travel. Of course, you know, flying, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yes.
But as it relates to cruising, again, it doesn't matter what the cost is. They will work with you on a package, and they'll put something together. Either you can go for 4 days, or you can go a week, or you can go 21 days, like some people do, or year round.
Yeah.
But you can get cruising, even they have 3-day packages, but the fact that you're able to pay over time, that is, let's just say for 2 people, it's usually around $600 or $700. About $600 for 2 people, because they advertise a lot of $499, but I always just say $600. That is like, if you break it down, every paycheck, you just take $20, $30, $50 or whatever from every paycheck. You put that automatically, if you have a bank account. We are big on automating a lot of our life, because we get busy, we got other things going on, but we want to know that we're taking care of our responsibility. So having something like an online savings account, you can go with a Barclays, we go with Barclays, you can go with an Ally Bank. There are lots of places, guys, that you can actually link to your personal checking account, so that every time you get paid, automatically that money, it could be $20 or whatever, comes out, you don't even see it. It goes to your online account. You earn a little bit of interest while it's there, but it's just if you got 6 months to pay it off, every paycheck or every week or whatever, you just divide that amount up over the amount of pay periods or whatever the case is, and then just have that money coming out, going into that account. That way, when it's time to make the payment, the money's already there. You don't have to scramble and say, oh Lord, what am I going to do? And you have now fully paid for a cruise trip.
Yep.
Now that's one option. The other option that we utilize is credit cards.
Yes.
And we have how many credit cards?
We have one. Well, we have 2. One we don't need. We just have it open for the credit sake.
Oldest credit card,
our oldest credit card. But the one that we use is one credit card, and it's our Southwest Airlines credit card.
Southwest.
Yes. Which, you guys, we were. I'm telling you, for years, Southwest. If you ever travel with Southwest, there would be different representatives in the airport that would be trying to get us to get a credit card, and we were just like, we do not want a credit card. But then one day we thought about it. We was like, okay, well, we're responsible with our money. You know, we pay our bills on time and before time and things like that. We were like, I think this might make sense, since we travel exclusively for the most part with Southwest. Why don't we go ahead and get the credit card? And that's what we decided to do.
So that's been a huge benefit, because like Baby said, we have one card. We pay it off in full every month. We don't charge what we don't plan on paying off in full every month. That way we don't pay any interest. And that's the big negative with credit cards, that you're paying interest, and you just, you know, it just gets crazy once that starts happening. So we are very, very diligent and very, very responsible in that we only charge what we know we're going to pay off in full every month. It's our everyday purchases. We always say if it's over $100, then we charge it on the credit card. If it's under $100, then we just use our debit card. That's kind of the way how we do it, because a credit card, I think I saw Dave Ramsey talk about this on Instagram. A credit card is like the cigarette of society, financial society, and what that means is it's so easy to pull out a cigarette and start smoking, and you'd be like, no big deal, I'm stressed, I'm only smoking this while I'm stressed out. But over time, it can cause lung cancer. So having your credit card and having that ease of being able to just swipe, you tend to not feel it, is what, you know, a lot of money people say. You don't feel it as much as if you had the envelope system and you took cash out to pay for stuff. You would actually see that money leaving your hand. It would hurt you a little bit different. It hits you a little bit different. For me, spending any kind of money hurts me.
That's true.